Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. If you want to sell in a down market, you better understand these three key things. Number one, branding. You're going to have to be well packaged and look like a better option than everybody else. Number two, processes. You need a sales process, a service technician process, a communication process. You have to give your better customers an internal reason to know that they made the best choice with you, and they judge you by packaging and they also judge you by processes. But the other piece I want to talk to you about now is pricing. Guys, it's going to get tight. Prices are going to go down. You're going to have to drop your price. They're going to drop their price. You're going to drop your price. This is a race to the bottom, and we have to be really careful. But let's be realistic. If you knew your numbers well enough that you could actually price profitably and be competitive with a lot of those numbers out there because you have a better pricing method, you now have an advantage. Now, I want to talk to you about a few things that is missed. Number one is this. If you see this back here, this is called, well, this is your chart of accounts in your accounting. And we've got this set up for QuickBooks right here so that if you're not set up for this, wait till the first of the year, but this is going to help you because when you run a sales report, you may know how much money you made in the year, but if it's not broken by departments, well, what percentage of that was, let's say, service and repair, demand service, right? How much did you do in changeouts? How much did you do in sales? In order to know that, you need to be departmentalized. So you don't just put sales, you put 30-30, which is service sales. You don't just put a change out like on a retrofit, you push 30-60. And then when you go do your expenses, it's the same thing. If I'm going to do a part and I know that this is my service department -30, down here when I go to the parts house, I buy these parts. When I enter it into my accounting, it's -30. And that way, guess what? Not only can I run reports on my service, how much service sales I made, but how profitable that department was, or did it lose money? Now that's the foundation, but I want to talk to you about you little guys especially, or those of you who don't have this set up right. It's okay, Pete's got you. We're going to teach you how to price right down to the penny. You're going to need this tool in order to be competitive out there, in order to run specials and promos and hit your numbers so that you can stay in business as things get tighter and tighter and tighter. People are going to go out of business, and the ones that are going out of business don't know what I'm about to share with you. So let's look at number one here. Let's start with your overhead. We have an overhead calculator in here that you can go, we can do this manually for you. We go in, we put in all your overhead figures, and then we break those up by department. And we actually have an actual dollar amount. I know that this service department cost me $85,937 per year to operate that. So I have to know this before I can do my price calculator. So once we have all of this, and once we look at your capacity in terms of how many service calls you can handle and how many you're going to actually budget for, same thing with your changeouts, these are the numbers that we plug over into the calculator. Now, let me let you know ahead of time that the only way that pricing works is if you have all of your numbers accounted for, this system accounts for every penny, and you departmentalize it correctly. Let me give you an example. If you have a person working in the office and they're supporting everybody, let's say that you pay them 40 hours a week. How many hours are they spending supporting your service department? Answering service calls, dispatching, calling for parts, doing happy calls and follow-up calls, anything to support the service department. How much time are they spending there versus how much time are they spending over doing estimates and change outs and supporting that department versus the maintenance department, scheduling maintenance. You see what I'm saying? When we split that person's time up and we apply it to the appropriate department, we know exactly what it costs. And we do that with the rent. We do that with your vehicle payments. We do that with your insurance. We do that with your internet, your cell phone. We do it with everything. And it's really simple. We just have to go through and think about it. We put a figure down there, and before you know it, you got a pretty accurate figure, even if you're not departmentalized the proper way. So while you're not set up, let's take you through this tool and make sure that you're set up. And so what we do, like this program is a price calculator, okay? It's going to price calculate your flat rate repair. Boom. I got this many, I got a $30 part, and I got 1 hour. What should I charge for it? We'll show you to the penny what your break even is. Okay, but the break even is always based on quota units sold. Is we're going to help you set that up as well. But so in this particular example, we've got a $5 million company that's got $1.29 million in overhead. That's a 25% overhead, and so we know exactly what the overhead is for the installation department, what it is for the service department, what it is for the maintenance department, and what it is for new construction if they do that. Now, we've got this extra department over here we're calling new construction, but that could be your commercial department. It could be your custom home department. It could be your special projects department. But the calculator itself does these three things. It's going to calculate your flat rate on a change out. Here we go, a $3,000 system. We can use a subcontractor. We can pay by the hour, or we can pay by task pay. And so we'll know exactly what that break-even figure is. We know what the market is bearing, and then we know where we need to be either in GP to come up with a selling price, or maybe we need to just do it on net profit, and we want to be at 25%. We'll know exactly what we need to charge for the final price to the customer, which right here is $9,892.75 because they did finance, and the financing fee is this. That's up here. And then we did have a commission, salesperson, so we have to pay them 8%, whatever that commission is. So in your rebates, any rebate costs of your subcontractor, all this is built in here. Your sales tax, your subcontractors, all of this is built in there, especially your overhead. So what we do is we know exactly what that break-even figure is for these change-outs, and we set this around your budget, your quota. And so we know you need 2 changeouts every week, 5 changeouts every week, whatever that is for your company and your size. Maybe it's 2 a month if you're just getting started. But we use those numbers and we establish your overhead based on that, and we ensure that you get those sales by setting a budget for marketing to go in there and make that happen. And it's really, you build it into the pricing. Yes, you can afford this, and yes, you can still be competitive and be out there winning jobs. In your sales, you use your sales skills, of course, but you're going to have a good financial deal. They got to feel that warm and fuzzy where possible. Now, some people don't want the cheapest stuff. A lot of people just want a good deal, right? They just want to know that they've got good value. So you're going to have to learn how to be competitive now more than ever. If you're doing the GP method, or if you're marking up parts and equipment separately, you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you, you're doing it wrong. Nobody is teaching this like this that I know of, and this is accurate. So we do that for your change-out department. This is a one-at-a-time calculator. We also have a one-at-a-time calculator for your repair. So you go in, same thing. It's got your financing, which is actually the credit card amount. So if we did this repair for $399.58, the credit card company is going to take their 3.5% or so, and this becomes our actual selling price. And that's a net profit of 19% or 73. So we know what our break even is. I cannot do this job for less than $311.86. But if the customer asks me, and I'm going to lose the job if I don't get it, will you do it for $320? Well, I may do that as opposed to losing that, because at least I'm going to make my overhead, right? And I'm going to recoup my vehicle and fuel expenses, and I'm going to recuperate my labor for driving over there and doing the work. So all of this is something that you're going to have to do as we get into tighter markets. But going back to sales, same thing is true on your maintenance. When you're selling maintenance agreements, we can tell you right to the penny what your break even is to do an annual maintenance agreement based on your numbers and your overhead. And we're going to do the same thing over in service. Now, what we've done is we've added something additional. I don't want to get into this too much, but we've got a calculator that looks just like the flat rate for repairs, and it populates an entire repair book. So it kind of looks like this on the back end. So we've got all these different repair scenarios, okay? And some of them are description, like, for example, this one right here. I got well, let's just use this one, a repair on a basic blower motor, right? And this is $1,022 for this one. It's probably not your numbers, it's probably a little high, but it just depends on what your actual numbers are. So this part of it, you wouldn't see the gray. This is the back end stuff. So we know in this particular case we've got $150 part, and we got two hours worth of labor, and then we've got a net profit goal on this. But when we start looking at what we call level of service, we have every scenario pretty much covered in here. And the rest of them you just kind of custom calculate. So we've done that so that all you have to do is come over, and let's say you get your own price book, and maybe you like mine, and I put this in here, and you can come in and you go into Canva and you put these prices in here. So let's say that you're talking about those motors again. Now let's just do that level 1 repair. So if we come over here and we got a level 1, category 1 repair, this would be any basic electrical or mechanical repair using level 1 materials such as a generic capacitor contactor. So that's what that may look like, right? Flip open your book, show it to your customer, boom. And what we want you to do is to come back over here, and all you do is enter in, let me get on the right one, this, let's see if that's a level 1 $25 part, right? We're going to enter in this repair number, C1LO1PRS, category 1, level 01, primary repair, standard pricing. This is M for member, right? So there's a discount, 15%. So we calculate based on the discount price so that we don't lose money, and then we know our standard price is 15% higher, and that becomes our book price, okay? And so this is how you do this. It's not brain surgery, but what we've done here on repairs, we haven't forgot about you guys doing equipment sales. So we're now putting this one in so you can kind of see we're going to do a good, better, best. So in this case, we've got gas electric split systems, we got split heat pumps, we got package heat pumps, we got gas packs, we've got ductless heat pumps, and that's all we've got on those. So we've got a good scenario, a better scenario, and a best scenario. So you have this 3-tier pricing. You put 4 in there if you want. Everyone has its repair number. So when you enter your numbers, you can load these, dump them in a spreadsheet, put them right in your pricing, and all you got to do is go in and press quantity, press the repair number. It will auto-populate the description, and it will auto-fill in the proper pricing that your calculator got to the penny. Now, when you go in and you do any tweaking, it will adjust everything. It will adjust everything. So the prices, like way over here in these repairs, let's say that I come all the way back over and I recalculated my overhead over here, and I added an employee in the office. And so that's going to jump my overhead. Once I do that, I come over and I set it over in the company overhead, and I apply that properly. All of my prices just changed. Everything. My individual calculator for my changeouts, my individual calculator for my flat rate, my individual calculator for my maintenance agreements, and the book pricing that I've set up for flat rate service and repairs and changeouts. All done. Of course, you're going to have to upgrade your books, but this is not a full-fledged software system yet. This is a training program to teach you how to price right down to the penny, so that when you're out there selling, you know how low you can go to get that sale. Okay, you know where you need to be if you need to get competitive. And we also put another system in there called promotional, so that you got your good, better, best, but you also have a promotional system that you can step in and seal the deal. We're going to talk about strategies on that a little bit, on how to do that. But fundamentally, the key program here is how to properly price your repairs and your replacements and your maintenance agreements, and all the spinoff results in better sales, because you know exactly what you can do, exactly what you cannot do. And you can provide transparency and educate your customers and win the customer over, particularly if you have the first 2 things I mentioned at the beginning of this video. That's proper branding and packaging, and proper processes in place that build that confidence. You want them to know, like, and trust you, and you need to be charging a little bit more, generally speaking, because you're worth more. But your prices are going to tell you where you need to be so that you can still give them a competitive price when needed. Okay, Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Get on board. Check out the link below. Get involved in the class. We're going to be doing a live training session in July. We were going to do it in June. We pushed it back because we decided to add this equipment stuff in there as well. So Pete's got you covered. Talk to you on the next one. Come on in, and we'll see you in the training. Bye-bye.